Trading Lounge, and I'd like to wish everybody a fantastic year ahead for 2025. I wasn't going to do the normal stocks video, but I've decided that I will do it. There's a bit of a call for doing those stocks, so I'll continue to do the stocks. I may not do them in a lot of detail like I did before. I'll just sort of cover them generally, but as accurately as possible, because I wanted to create a bit of time to create more trades. So there will be Elliott wave trades, shorter term swing trades using the robo method, and so on. So that will be for the US markets and for the Australian markets, and yeah, maybe a couple of others as well. Secondly, I'm going to use this charting program that we're looking at here is the Elliott wave AI and Algo charting program that Joel has created for us. Now I'm going to use it because I want to sort out a lot of the bugs and see, there's only a little few bugs, but basically I want to see what other features we need to add to it. So by using it, I will be able to communicate with Joel, and we'll be able to improve it. And the more that folks use it themselves as well, it's free to use. We'll get feedback in the chat section. You can give feedback, and we can continue to improve it. And the reason for, I mean, obviously TradingView do a fantastic charting program, and I use a few others as well. But the Elliott wave algorithm on this is pretty sensational. It's a fantastic learning tool, and the AI will just continue to improve as well. So in using this particular charting program for the sort of first time doing videos for the first week or two, I'm going to be a little bit sort of clunky with it, so you'll have to forgive me for that. And but apart from that, all is good, and we can start talking about the markets now. So we're looking at the S&P here. The code, I can put it on the chart, but I just like less noise as possible. So the code will be up here for this, and I'll be working through this. This will be my watch list here for this. Now, Joel's also going to, these watch lists here, when you use the program, these will be here. You can delete them or add to them and all those sorts of things. And these will be watch lists, like I'm working with the US stocks video here. And these are the stocks that I cover in the videos. And as an example, Kitty Pon is doing the crypto here. Shane's doing stocks here. I mean, eventually you should be able to have a function to download the counts that these analysts put on the chart. So we'll talk about that in the future. But that's the watch list I'm working through. So we'll always be, for the stock video, we'll be looking at the S&P, the NASDAQ, and these stocks here. So that's what we're doing. So I'll use this. This is the Elliott wave algorithm here, so we'll use this at particular times. It's a fantastic learning tool. This one here just gives one-off labeling, and these two here for impulse waves and corrective waves to do that manually. So I'll be using those. Now, coming over to the S&P here. Now, I did place a video in the chat lounge, which gave a long-term count going back to the 1870s up until where we are now. So you can go in and have a look at that video. I'll look at that video a little bit more, that count a little bit more on the indices video. But for the S&P, I'll just start at the top here. Now, picking tops is a bit of a mug's game, and this wave structure from wave 4 here up to wave 5 here doesn't count that well. We can count it in different ways. So we can look at it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. We could also drag this wave 1 up to here and this wave 2 to here as well, and look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and finishing in this way as well. That fits. So there's a few different ways to count it, but I have to say, you know, I mean, tops hardly ever finish the way that you would like them to fit. They're not always nice and clean. There's always, you know, something, you know, amiss with them, so they're always a little bit tricky, a little bit like navigating wave 4s that we're in at the moment. So I wanted to talk about this correction here for a moment. Now, basically, if I you know, we've got basically here an ABC pattern here. Now, if I put this ABC pattern here for this wave 4 here, to me, this wave 4 is going to be too small for what we're looking at, because I would want this wave 4 here to be bigger than the previous wave 4. And I'm not really seeing that at the moment. So if this is a low in here, and it's possible for that to be the case, so we'll look at that. We know wave 4s are tricky anyway, so we, you know, out of the 12 different types of corrections, we'll be able to see any of those corrections come into play. So, but I kind of wanted it, I'm kind of looking for it to play down here a little bit lower on this, so we'll just leave that there for the time being. Now, between this top here and this bottom here, this is the 61.8% mark in here. So if that becomes a tested support, well, then we'll look for long trades at that point, and then we'll go up. But if it does go up from here, then I think that we can still be in this trend here, and then we'll need to put you know, this wave 5 here, or this wave 3 here rather, over here somewhere, do you know, like further up here in the food chain. So we'll just see how that plays out. But let's just go in and have a closer look at this here. And yeah, we can just go to the hourly chart here at the moment. Now, these little warning signs here, I've got this here. This has got it as a correction here, and it says it normally typically retraces between 38.2 and 78.6 here. The 78.6 is just a little bit higher here though. I will ask Zhao to have a function to turn this on and off here, because it will get a little bit messy at times, because when you get into smaller time frames, you know, some of the counts can get a little bit overlappy and so on. One of the interesting things here that I have to say is that from this top here down to here, it is 3 waves down, coming down into this space here. Now, this indicator that I've got here will just allow me to put those counts on here for this, okay? So that's just allowing it to display at that particular point. So we've got this ABC pattern here. So based on that ABC pattern, we know that the market should be making a new high at some point, you know. We've got a nice little ABC pattern here. And this counts quite nicely down here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 1 here, and I'm looking at this as being an A wave here, an ABC for the B wave, and then over to the C wave here. So that would look here, if I open that up a little bit further here, it would look a bit like this here as an expanded flat, as an A and a B and a C wave to move up through here. So this is also the 61.8% mark up here as well. So we'll just give this another session. Now this little, don't think that you're missing anything, because this little trend up here, it looks like a nice little 5 waves up here so far. I'll just put it on 5 minutes here. I can see from this, you know, I'll just use this tool here. I can see from, this is a little bit sort of messy here, but obviously this will be the 3rd wave in the middle here. So we would have to look at this as wave 1 here, and 2 here, and 3 here, and 4 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we could put a top in there for that. I could push that out a bit further. I could go a little wave 1 to this point and 2 to this point, and then push this. That can just push up there. So I can actually just push it up a little bit further. So I could put this top in play here if I wished at this point, but it does look like this is a corrective pattern, and we'll need to move up further here. So it's more likely that we'll need to push this up here a little bit higher up here somewhere, and eventually this wave 3 will need to come up here, with this being a wave 4 over here, and then this will need to probably drop back here. Now, like I said, it's possible for this move up here to be bullish, you know, and if that is the case, that's okay. We can still catch it, because what we'll do is we'll look at it's going to come up here somewhere, and then it's going to have some sort of ABC pattern here, and when it does that, we can go long above this top here for this, and this will be 1 and 2 in here as well, you know. So there'll be a get this gotta get this thing working properly. So yeah, so we should be able to, you know, look for a nice entry point somewhere along the way there for that. So we'll just let it rise and come back, and then we can pick it up, and we'll look for a price point here that we can work with as well on that. Okay, so that's where that is at the moment. So we'll have a look at the NASDAQ. So it's the same as the NASDAQ here as well. We've got this wave 3 up here, and we're looking for an ABC for wave 4. Like I said, we could view this here as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. But like I say, this degree of structure here would be too small at this point. So I wanted to see it bigger than this one down here for this. So, but yeah, it looks like a nice little ABC pattern and ready to push up. So we'll do the same. We'll go through the same process here as well. Like I said, it looks like a nice ABC pattern here. In this case, we've got more of a nice 5-wave structure to the downside here for that. So this one here doesn't count very nicely as 5 waves. Now, I could put it as 5 waves here. I could go, just to play this out here, I could go wave 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, and an A and a B and a C for wave 4, and then down for wave 5 here. So that's, you know, I could do it. We could do it like that. It's kind of okay-ish, you know, it doesn't break a lot of rules, but it's a little bit dodgy. So, you know, I think that that we need to give, you know, it's nice to see this move up here being impulsive, but like I said, it also enables this here to be, you know, an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave coming into here as well. So down for 1 here, an A and a B and a C. Let's just go into the 15-minute chart and just check on that. So it's just really a matter of, you know, working through this here. I don't think I've got that. No, I haven't got it on there. So we're just going to draw this in here. So from here, as I'll have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll have to go to here for that, and then the 2 would go over to here for that. And then we'll look at 3, 4, and 5 coming down here, okay? So we'll just see how this plays out. This is also, you know, the 5-wave structure up here as well. This is the 61.8%, and this large number here, the 21,500, is important. The 21,300 is important as well, as group 1 here, and the 5 here. So if we can see, you know, this 21.5 here, you can see, it's called the midpoint. If we could, you could see that this is where all the head and shoulders are through here. So if we got a classic trading levels pattern sitting on top of that, then something like this here, then we can look to move in on that here, and that would be, this is a little classic trading levels pattern here. So we've got the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, some sort of ABC, but we've got that top, there's the reference point, then we can drop it down to the second reference point, and that would be the entry at that point there. So we'll look for something like this here over here on this one, and if that is the case, then we can move into higher ground at that point. But in the meantime, because there is a because this is not 100% clear coming down here, we'll just need to, you know, give that a little bit more time. I can see stocks like Apple that also need to come down as well, so we'll take a look at that now. Now I want to start with the monthly picture here, and this is taking Apple back to 1981 roughly. And you know, when I did that S&P count taking back to 1870, what I've tried to do is I've tried to look at these tech stocks, because these tech stocks, you know, depending on which tech stock it was, you know, that they all came in at different times within that trend, of course. So basically what I've tried to do is try to fit them in so we end up with the same top, the current, top area here within reason, and for this market here, I've got it on log scale here, and it's a monthly chart, and it's taking us way back. So we've got this wave 1 here and 2 here and 1 here and 2 here, and these are all sharp corrections here. So we're not really this one here is a bit sideways, so we're not really, this market's got more to go at this particular point. It's difficult to count this as a top for Apple. Yeah, I mean it's still got a fair way to go based on all of this. So just wanted to point this out as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and then 1 and 2. And so from wave 1 and 2 here, we're going up into wave 3 here. Apple is a little bit different from the other markets. This minor wave 4 alternative here is part of something else, but I'll just leave that. In fact, I just want to lock that in here if you don't mind. This is why I say I'll be a little bit sort of clumsy. I just want to lock some of these in so they don't move too much at this degree. Just lock those there so they stay there a little bit. So basically from here we've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here. We're pushing up here further. So basically I'll just go into the weekly chart here for this, and so what we're looking at just then was basically cycle wave 1 and 2 and going up here for 3 and 4, and then we're moving in this leg here. So this takes us to this move up here. Apple started this before the was a bit. This was a little bit different from the NASDAQ and the S&P. This particular one here. So then we've got to work out how to label this here. So on the weekly, I'm just going to drop this down here. So looking at this here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, and then wave 2 here. Now this becomes a little bit sort of interesting here. I wish I could get rid of that. Yeah, we'll just get rid of that. I might just get rid of it there, in fact. Yeah, that makes it a bit cleaner. Now, with this here, what I could do is I could put this wave 3 over here. I could put it over here for that, right? And then make this one here wave 4. Now, the problem with that is that this is shorter. This one, wave 3, cannot be the shortest wave. So, I mean, I could put a top in here. That could be wave 5 top there, and that could be the end of it at that point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's the top. And then I could look at this as a triangle pattern here, as an A, B, C, D, and E here for 4, and then up for 5, a small wave here. But this small wave here is really quite small compared to wave 1 here. So it's possible, but I don't see it as a top at this particular point in time, but it's possible to count it as a top. So we'll keep an eye on that. But most of the other markets are still looking for that wave 5 top over here, and that means that we don't want that one. We want this one here that can go over to here, and we're looking at this one here. That's why I say I'm a little bit clumsy with this, because this is quite an accurate. I'll just push that out the way there for the moment. It's quite accurate. You've got to kind of get all the label. If you put the labeling in the right place, right on the top there, then this particular program will tell you what the next will fit in the next, automatically get the next wave structure for you, the right degree of structure. So we've got this move up here, and if I drop this down to intermediate here, we can look at this as 1, 2, 3 here, and A, B, C, D, E here for 4, and then up for 5 here for the third wave up here. The P just means pivot at this point. I don't think we really need that, but we'll get that. Because there is a pivot indicator. I think it's in the indicator list here. Maybe he's moved it. Let me just check. Thought it was here somewhere. this one here, select waves to pivot from. So yeah, I mean, that's basically what it's giving you, the strength of that count at that point, but not a big deal. So yeah, so we'll see this here a little bit more clearly on the daily chart here for this. Now, I'm not going to go through all the stocks in looking at the bigger picture here for the as such, but we will look at them. We'll probably do one or two each time we go through. So there is a nice, from this wave 2 here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, the A, B, C, D, E here for the fourth wave, and the fifth wave here to make this top come into play here for this. So we're looking at this wave 4 here for this. At the moment, wave 4s can pull back to the wave 4 to one lesser degree, but we're not expecting that. We're expecting more of a bullish market. We're seeing a strong US dollar because the lowering Trump's policies of lowering taxes will make the money men attracted to the US dollar, and the US dollar and stocks can go together. So I'm not expecting a big pullback, but we need some sort of correction here. Now, if it's only a small correction and pushes up, well, then I will change this structure here and look at this as wave 1 here and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here and then 5 up here. But all we're doing at the moment is trying to work out this particular correction. We've got our little 5 waves up here. So let's just go to the intraday at this point, to the 1 hour area here. That was back over here. I will put that back up there for that. And if you put those on the right thing here, they'll just pop up and be in the right mode here. So I can see here that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to this point here, but we might just drop it down into 15-minute chart here and look at this a little bit closer. So you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we can place this 5-wave structure at this point here as 1, 2. I didn't line that up properly here, so I'll just have to drop that down manually at this point. Minor, medium. Let me just get this here. It should have showed up. I wonder why it didn't. Sorry about that. Just it should just give me. It does. It's weird. Anyway, I'll just count these out here. We'll just talk about this for a moment. This will say it'll be a little bit slower. Intermediate. I want to make that minor. Why is it disappearing like that for? Oh, because of this one up here. Sorry. Now there'll be a few of them there, but it doesn't really matter. That's cool. Okay, so that was a bit of an effort. Thanks for putting up with me. And this move down here is also 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And it looks like we need another little move down here. So we could also put this one in here as 1, 2. Does it look like 3? I think we could. We can adjust that there anyway. We'll put that 3, 4, 5. So we may have a low in here as such, but it does look like it needs to come down a bit further. But let me just open this up a little bit. One, two, three. Yeah, I just don't think we're there yet. I think this is the end of the session. It gets a bit messy, So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here. But what I was sort of thinking here, though, is that we would need to look at this here as the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave down here for this. And this here needs to jump up one leg as well, down rather. So we could be quite close to a low coming into play here for this, unless this is just the A wave here. I mean, the other way to look at this too, by the way, is a bit of a deeper move in here. So that would be that we have wave 1 here, 2 here, coming down for 3 here, 4 here, 5 here, then an ABC pattern here, and then another 5 down here. Okay, so we'll just allow it to be for a while. We want to see a nice little impulse wave to move to the upside on that. Okay, so there's no trade here at this point. You know, this move down here, whichever way we want to look at it, is not completed. We don't have a setup. We're just not ready. We just got to be extra careful in wave 4s. With Amazon, I've got it in a slightly different count, but from this low here where we've been counting all of last year, really, we've been looking at this, you know, working this trend up here and this trend up here. With the other markets, we've got this primary wave 3 here, this circled wave 3 here. We've got that sitting over here where this intermediate wave 3 is, but I think this is a better fit here as 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 for the third wave here, and the fourth wave, and then the fifth wave up here. So we've sort of focused on this one. So a lot of the other markets will have this third wave here, over here, but in this one we'll have it here on this, so on the weekly. So what we're looking for here, you can kind of see that we've got wave 1 here and 2 and 3, 4, 5. We're going into wave 4 here and up for wave 5 here. And with all these markets, once we got this top in here, we will be looking for, you know, a serious pullback at that point. What will, you know, make that happen? You know, it could be an escalation in war. It could be Trump's policy. It could be, we just don't know what's going to come out of the gate to make that sort of happen. But we'll track that. But in the meantime, we've still got further to move to the upside. So we'll look at this here on the daily chart here, and here we can see we've got 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for the third wave. So we need to understand this fourth wave that we've got here. We can put this in here and bring in the minor count for this. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for this, and we're looking at some sort of ABC pattern here. So I'm just going to cut to the chase here and drop it into the 15-minute chart here for this particular top here. Now, once again, we've got so you've got to get it kind of right on the right pivot there for it. There we go, and it pops up, and they all line up together there, and it's kind of important for when you're doing other stuff. So here it looks like, you know, we've got a reasonable sort of impulse wave down for this one here. We've got some type of correction over here for this, and from this point here I can also see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So this wave 5 here, right, this low, I could put, you know, I could put wave C here like we have done with the S&P and things, but in this case this B wave here, you know, that we used in the S&P and the NASDAQ, it's really showing us that, you know, we because it made a new low here, it's showing us that to the downside, it's just not finished. You know, look, sure, it could be some type of, out of the 12 patterns there, it could be another, you know, something else, but I just think we need to watch it for a little bit. I just don't think we're finished yet, you know, and we need to come down a little bit further. So once again, I think in this case here, I can get that, yes. So if you get that right here, see how it's brought, in fact, it's given me the wrong one here. Maybe I've got the wrong one up there. It's not giving me the right one. And this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got a little bit of a move up there, and then 3, 4, 5. That should have been, yeah, I wonder if that's wrong there then. Just let me have a look at this one. Minor. Yeah, this should have, I didn't get it accurate. I didn't get it on the right thing there. So it's given me the wrong count, but it should have popped in at minute degree here. So I need to put minute degree here. Okay, well, I did have that there. So I'll just get rid of this one. So we need to look at this as wave 1 here with an A, B, and a C wave to move up here, and then down over here to get this wave. So I think, you know, this is kind of why I've gone this way with the S&P and the NASDAQ, even though you could call a low in when you see stocks like Amazon doing this. Then you know that we know that that. Just trying to look at that sort of thing here, really, but with trend line. Yeah, so that's where that is at the moment, and this gives a, because of this particular pattern here, it gives a good case for the S&P and the NASDAQ to come down a little bit further. So I don't think that we're here just yet, and yeah, so that's that really. And then we come over to the next one is Nvidia. So with Nvidia here, I just want to walk through the issue that we have here. I'll show you what's clear and what's not clear, and then we'll need to make a bit of a plan about what to do with it. So from this low down here, obviously we've got this nice correction down here, and then we do have a nice 5 waves up here. So to me, that's really quite clear here in this impulse wave. It's quite large. And then it's also quite clear between this move here and this move here that we have 5 waves here as well. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. Now, I've got it as wave 3 here. Now, it is shorter than wave 1 here. That means that wave 5 here would need to be shorter than wave 3 here, okay? So wave 3 can't be the shorter, so that means wave 5 up here would need to be the shorter wave here. So I could put wave 5 top in here, but that wouldn't suffice at the moment for this. So we need just to put it out of the way here for a moment. We need to sort out this here. So we're on a weekly chart here at the moment. So what what I'm seeing here at the moment, there's 2 things that can go on here. Obviously, this move up here as wave 1 and wave 2 is fine, right? So that's all pretty good at that stage. Now, I can put this little wave 5 top in here and put that top in play there, and then that would give us, at that point, that would give us this here as wave 1 to here, wave 2 to here, 3, 4, and 5, and finish up here, wherever that's going to finish up there. We don't need to get into that at the moment. But this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. So we've either got that pathway, right? Or I need to drag this wave 4 here over to this point and then put wave 5 over to here. But the problem with this is that this mentions here wave 4 cannot retrace past the top of wave 1 here. And at this degree of structure being weekly over here, I sort of tend to agree that that rule there would be, is breached by quite a long way at this point. It's not out of, character, but yeah, we just need to sort of get a bit of a grip on this. And the other interesting thing here, if I can point out, is that we're currently at, this is 100 here, right? So then we've got 100 and the next major level up here is 200. Then we've got 150 here where it's the halfway mark here at the moment. And I normally find when a market gets support on the 150, if it gets support with the classic trading levels pattern, then it's got further to go to the upside. It's not like this number, this top here is going to be all squished up at a larger number like 100 or 200. So it's actually got space to run here in terms of the price of psychology over here with this. So I'm a little bit more inclined to put this over to here and put this here as as wave 5 up there. And because it is Nvidia and it's got some its earnings have been pretty special, I think then we can look at this being wave 1 here and wave 2 here and moving up to 3, 4, and 5 up here. Okay, so I think that might be the right way for that. So if that's the case, what we need to do is we need to find a way in over here for this. So just going from daily to weekly here, this will put this onto here. We can just straighten these up here. That will give wave 2 here. So then we've got, we do have a nice ABC correction here. And in an odd way, we do have, we do have 5 waves up here. But once again, this low here overlaps the top of this low here as well. So that's a little bit of a a bit of an issue at this point, so we may need to see this here as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here as a powerful move to the upside here. We'll just see if we got the volume to back this up here on this. So we do have increased volume on this. See these little bars here. So we're seeing increased volume here. So that's a good thing at this point for that. So if we take this here and just go into the hourly chart here, and we'll turn that off there, and we've got wave 2 here. So yeah, so we'll probably need to look at this here as, if I take this low here as minor wave 1, and which is the low here for that. Probably this one. I'll check that later. So we need 3, 4, and 5 up there somewhere, and then this one here will be minute wave 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 heading higher at that point there. So this little move up here is also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1 and 2 coming into here, and 3. So there'll be over this top here, there'll be some sort of consolidation coming into here. I mean, you know, you could go long here, but you're going to hit this block of supply over here with all these tops here. Supply just meaning sellers. So it's going to hit that. So we'll pick this up on the Monday, and we'll try to look for a little pullback in here. And one of the other interesting things here that I'd like to have a look at as well is, I don't want to just jump in just yet when the other markets have got a little bit more downside. This could also be at this point here, if I just grab this here and plonk this over here as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave coming in here. So really what I would like to do is just to see this now I've got to get rid of that. There we go. So this it just jumps on things. So let me forgive me for a moment. I just practice this in your time. Apologies for that. So basically here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. So we need to wait for that finish. Well, why don't I just do this properly then? Let's get a bit professional in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. So that may be the wave 3 up here that we're looking for. It may not be. It could be a wave C here. If it is a wave C, then we're going to see this, you know, come back down from this point. So we want that top to be in place. Then we can look at it. Then we can look at going long above this top here, because that will take us past this as an A and a B and a C wave up here. Okay. Okay, so let's move on here to Meta. Okay, so I'm just going to cut through with Meta here. I'm just going to go to the hourly chart and look at this particular top here, because we want to be looking, we want to understand this correction, and then we want to be looking on the on the long side. Currently here we can see that we've got wave 1 and 2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, the fourth wave, and the fifth wave. So there's a good case to have 5 waves down to this particular point. I could look at it as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, and have this low into place. But the thing is that, you know, it wasn't really much of a low. I mean, it just nipped it out, which is fine. It, you know, that could be it at this point. But I think I'll sort of put it in with the others. And the trick here for me, it would be that, you know, if we count from this low here, if we count 5 waves up here, so currently we could look at that as 1 and 2, and a bit of a sharp thing there for that. So yeah, I'm not sure about that, but I know that it hasn't finished. So if we allow it to come back up into this supply level here, see these lows here, so that will be the 60, well, I think that's 65% here rather than the what's the name, but I like the number 618 over here at the price point here more so 620 rather. So I think that we're going to be looking something like this here. So we'll just sorry about that. Yeah, so I think we've got some sort of little A, B, and C wave here. This is just saying what you should not but an expanded in a regular. This is saying that it's sort of regular flat. So this here, regular flat. So if we go to an expanded flat, it should allow that to move there. So that's not okay. So that's stuck. So these three corrections here are stuck on giving a reading for a running flat. So that's a little bug in there that we need to sort out. So yeah, so we're not ready with Meta at this point. So we'll look at Netflix now. Okay, so with Netflix here, it's pretty straightforward, this count here. The only mistake that I could do here is have a larger wave 3 at this point. But I kind of like what I've got here. I could do it a little bit differently, but I sort of like this is a little 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then 5 to here, then the 1 and the 2 here, and going up here for the fourth wave. Yeah, so I could have it 1 degree higher, but anyway, we're in this particular correction here for this. This is the 38.2%, so down at the 820 area, 830, 820 in this sort of zone here. So let's just cut straight through to the hourly chart. I mean, of course, we don't particularly want to trade against the trend and short. Look, if I was putting a trade out, I wouldn't short this position, even though I know that it's going down, because I like to trade with the trend. If I was going to short something, I just like to trade with the trend, because if you make a mistake, and we all do, then if you're with the trend, you can kind of hold it out a little bit further, you know. So what we're looking for here is this here as the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave coming down here somewhere. So in this case here, we could also see that if we take this here, see, if you get this right here, then it'll actually bring out the right label for you, you know, the right degree. So I'm not quite sure about that. It's a little bit short there for that. So we've still got a bit more to come down here on this. So, oops, a daisy. Doesn't matter too much, but basically we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 1 and 2. I could put this in as the third wave here, but it's a bit short compared to this. So this is probably another 1 and 2 in here. We could look at that. So it looks a bit more bearish, this market. So 1 and 2 here, and 3, 4, 5 to come down here a bit further. So it'd probably make a good short, actually. All that for a short-term player anyway. So yeah, because there's a clear 5 waves in this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So that's where we are with this stock, and then let's have a look at Google. So I also wanted to talk through this count with you guys as well, and any ideas appreciated, and you put that into the chat area. And from this low here, obviously we got this correction here, so we're counting 5 waves up here, right? So this current top here has taken out this top here, so that means we're still bullish, so we've still got higher to go, and it's just the best way to count that. So counting from the low here is pretty much the same as the NASDAQ and the S&P, as we've got 1s and 2s down the bottom here and moving up here. This wave 3 and some of the other markets we've got sitting over here, but it doesn't fit very well for Google. So then we come into this point here, this move here. So we need to sort of understand that a little bit better. So I just want to talk about that for a moment, because there's a couple of different angles on this. So first of all, we can look at this little move from the low here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, and we can put that there as 1 and 2, and then we can look at this as 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 over here. So I don't want to put that as the third wave, because that doesn't make any sense. We'll come back and overlap this one here, and then this one here is in 5 waves as well. So I think the best bet for this so far is that if we take this low here and look at this here as 1 here and 2 here, and we'll just see how this travels. This is 3 here, and then the wave 4 here, and then wave 5 over here for that. Okay, now this little move from the top here coming down here looks a little bit impulsive, so this wave 4 will probably need to go over here, but at the same time we kind of want to keep it above this wave 1 here, because if it overlaps this wave 1 here, perhaps then we need to look at this here as wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 to the upside. But we don't particularly like going there because those 1s and 2s don't sort of play out a lot of the time. So, but anyway, there is a little bit of an issue with that. We could put possibly wave 1 up to here. That, yeah, doesn't really, yeah, whichever way you go, this is probably the best count, and we're just still in this little area here, so we'll need to be a little bit mindful. This is not really a trend trade here, because see, at this level here, at the 200 here, where it is at the moment, that's a major trading level. So this market is not going to go very far here. It'll go to 210 and back to, you know, support within this area here and all of those sort of things, and it could be sold off a little bit more. So if we go into the intraday and have a look at this little move down here, so let's just go to 15 minutes. So apologies for such a long video, but coming back into after the holidays and with a new charting program and all these sorts of things, it's a bit of a thing. Now I could count this down here as a little A wave, a B wave here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I could see that there. I could get this as wave 1 and 2 here, and then the 3 here. I could possibly get 5 waves out of here, then an A and a B, and I could have a low in place. I could put this over here for this, right? And we can go up from that point. Yeah, so I'll just float this over here for the time being, and we'll just see how this goes, because the other side of the coin here, on the downs, just looking at the downside for a moment, we could have this here as wave 1 here, and 2 over here, and 3, 4, 5 over here. So I'll just put those at minute degree, which is not showing there, so I need to put minute degree here. Yeah, so I already had those there, so I'll just get rid of those there. So yeah, so there's a bit of a conundrum here on this. So we'll just see how it. Actually, that needs to go down another degree here as well. This one, and then that's going to disappear from there, so I'll need to put that there, and then we can have a look at this here as the A, the B, and the C wave here. And if I'd done that right, I wouldn't need to change this here, but such is life. And we could also put this down here as well, here as the little A, B, and C wave down here as well. Probably not the case, but but we'll just keep an eye. We'll wait for a little bit of development here. I mean, the other thing here too is that this here is 1, 2, 3, 4, and going up here for 5. Up here, once this top's in place and it pulls back, then we can go long above that top. But I won't go long in front of a large number. So there's no trade in this area here for this at the moment, unless you've got something else in mind. This little dude here is giving me a hard time, giving myself a hard time. Okay, so on to the next one, which is Microsoft. Okay, with Microsoft here, this is a weekly chart, and the long-term view over here from this big correction like the other markets, and we've moved up through here. And I'm pretty satisfied with with this wave structure to the upside. The thing here is that I'm not quite sure about this here. It certainly looks, because it's got overlapping wave structures in between A and B here, it would make it correct over that point. So for it to be an A and a B and a C, we would need to see it come down here a little bit further. Now obviously the 400 is sitting here, which is the support, so anywhere close to that would suffice. So what we do need to do is just track the movement down from the top here coming down. So now that I've said that, so this movement coming down through here, we need to understand that. And as I mentioned, this level here, the 400, is obviously like a strong support. And we know that there's going to be strong support coming in at 10, 20, and 30 here as well. We're deep in the deep in the support area here at the moment. So this is where it's going to get a little bit sort of bouncy at the moment. Now, I could look at this as a bullish picture and, count this up as a impulse wave to the upside, but it counts better as a corrective wave. So we'll leave it as a corrective wave for the time being. And then if we need to change it in some way or other, then we'll do that. The other point here is that in terms of trading it, we would want to see a nice impulse wave off the low before we trade it. The normal thing of looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, and then the ABC pattern, and then we can look to go long at that point. But while it's bouncing around in this support area here, we don't really need to be here. If we go from the daily into say 15 minutes, and we'll take it from the top here and check it out at this stage, we can see that there's a couple of things here. I can see that this first little leg here is impulsive. I can also see this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, so we got 5 waves here. We got some sort of correctional pattern here that could be an A and a B and a C to this point here, or we can look at it as 1, 2 here, and 3, 4, and 5 to this point. It doesn't finish off very well here. It looks like we're going to get some sort of correction here. Could I view it as an ABC pattern? The only way to do that is to go an A wave to here, B wave to here, and a C wave here for the A wave, and then the B wave here, and then look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and finish off down here. I just don't think that it's finished at this particular point in time. So we'll need to consider different ways to counter. But I would look at it as 1 and 2 and 3, or even 1 again and 2 here. And then a third wave and a fourth. It still needs to come down a bit further, so I'm not really going to worry about it today in all of this. So it will rally, but it should also move down further. If it gets a tested support on 430 with the classic trading levels pattern, then we'll look at going long at that point. But in the meantime, we don't need to do anything at all with this market. Okay, so over to Tesla. Okay, with Tesla, just going from the top here at $500, working the correction down as the A wave here, then the ABC pattern here for the B wave, and down for the C wave. We could possibly have a low in place here because of this strong move to the upside. I do have to force sort of wave 1 and 2 in here a little bit, which is sort of okay, but I'm not that happy with it. But that tells me that that I need to be careful about this move here. So let's just assume for a moment that because I think that what could happen here is we have a move up here, and then we have another move down at this point. Do you know what I mean? That's a real possibility at this point. So what we need to do is we just need to be a little bit mindful of that situation. This strong move up through here. What we'd need to see is this top here. We can have a look at that in a moment, but see this supply level here and this one over here, all of these lows here and this consolidation here. So at the 420 area here, this is where it's likely to have some type of correction here, and if it is going to be bullish, it'll end up being like this. And if that is the case, then we can look at going long at that point there. So we need this trend up here to complete. We can see that we could look at this as 1 and 2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it still needs to move up here further. So let's just allow it to top and turn. And if we get this set up here, then we can go along with it at that point. Okay, and then we'll have a quick look at Bitcoin. With Bitcoin, this is the daily chart here. There's different ways to count all of this to the upside here. The reason I've counted this here as 1 and 2 here, and then moving up for, oops a daisy, got to get this one right. Sit that in there. The reason I've got this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here is because of the US tech stocks. So this is sort of simplifying it. Now, this wave 3 that I've got up the top here, I could easily change this here and put this wave 3, this smaller wave 3, this minor wave 3 on top here, and recount this differently here. I can make it more bullish, the whole structure. I can go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and then that would bring this up higher here. Now we may need to do this, but the thing is that for two reasons. One, having this as a wave 3, 4, and 5 here would be in line with the tech stocks, with the NASDAQ. Secondly, the major level here, looking at a market to go to this, to come up here, the arrival, the reaction here, the first high above the level, and then an ABC pattern here that I've talked about a lot before in the other charting program, and then moving up from that point here in line with the NASDAQ. So this wave 5 here, these two wave 5s here, that would make another wave 1 on top of that. So that would be that top here. So at the major level here, the arrival, which is here, the arrival here, the reaction that we're having here now, and then the first high above the level. Now, because the extension's in wave 3 here, going up here, the wave 3 here, that means that wave 1 here and wave 5 can be roughly the same. So how high we go up here, maybe the 10,000, the 100,000, 110,000, 115,000, somewhere in that range would be about right. So that's the main structure that I'm working with at the moment. And when we first arrived up here, I did mention that this is going to get complicated. It could get complicated in here, and we're going to be, trading above the level, below the level, and above the level, and below the level. So we still got a fair way to go with all of this here, by the by. Now, the second thing is that this wave 4 here, I could put it in here, and we could be done here with a little ABC in here. that could be possible, or we'll need to see this move up here come back down into this space here somewhere, and then move up here, and then have the ABC pattern here, taking the lows out here and all the weak positions, and then moving up at that point. So that's sort of where we are at the moment with this and bigger picture. So I wouldn't really, certainly you don't want to be trading intraday trading around the number 1 here, the 100,000. You don't want to be doing that because it attracts large orders and you get spikes and all sorts of things that occur there. So for trading, I just, as I've mentioned before, that all of this area here is really an accumulation stage that you want to be buying Bitcoin in for the hodlers. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter, if you're buying new highs or you're buying new lows, but basically just this is the time to accumulate before we head off. But we're not ready to head off yet. But we have the arrival, we have the reaction, we have the first high above the level, and then we'll be looking at the ABC. So in this pattern here, we're in this reaction pattern here. Now, in this case here, I've drawn it nice and tidy at the top here, but it could be above this level a bit, or we could be below it, but we've arrived, right? That's the main point. And we're in the reaction. Now, we don't know if this is over yet or not. There's cases for both sides of that, but we still need that push, and then we still need this correction over here. This correction can come back lower than this move over here as well for that. So that's where we are. We're in this area here at the moment. So that's the main gist of it all. There'll be when the boys come back on the Monday, they'll do all the sort of the intradays there, but this needs to be this here could be understood in different ways, with wave C still coming down here for wave 4 here, or we could already be, in play here. We don't know yet. There's this move up here can be counted as an ABC pattern up here, and it could also be counted as an unfinished impulse wave to the upside. But it's not going that far from the 100,000. It could be wrong, and we could end up going up here for the first high above the level. That would be nice, the quicker the better, I say, but we don't know that yet. But this is the one over here that we, really want to be looking at in due course. But all of this is accumulation phase in here, and building in for that is what we're looking at, what you can be looking at doing as a hodler. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in, and welcome to 2025.